My mama will be proud of me. I do it like this for.
What's the word? It's your boy Tito Lopez, man, one of Mississippi's finest, and I'm chilling on GarnettReed.com. Be seen, be heard. My name is Tito Lopez, born and raised Gulfport, Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here representing this BET Hip Hop Award. My first time on the red carpet, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here just bringing real rap back to the mainstream, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, what inspires me is just life, you know what I'm saying? Which is a dope way to answer both sides of it. Inspires me is life. Even I got a song called Jessica that aren't experiences I went through, experiences like a girl I know went through, you know what I'm saying? I'll take it. Somebody asked me one time who my mentor was, and I said life. I don't have a mentor, it's really just life, you know what I'm saying? I can take things that other people may be going through and put that in the song, which is what I'm supposed to do, you know what I'm saying? I'm the voice for them, voice for the underdog. So when they going through things, that inspires me. And also listening to dope MCs, you know what I'm saying? Give me a lot of inspiration these days, you know what I'm saying? Who are my influences? I mean, musically, of course, you know, some of my biggest influences are the Dungeon Family, Outkast, Goody Mob, Cool Breeze, all that. It's funny because we in Stankonia Studios now, you know what I'm saying? I happen to be working on my album. Big Boy just walked through here, so those are huge inspirations for me. Coming from the South, from Mississippi, we didn't have a whole lot of artists who ever blew up like that. You know who's famous from Atlanta, who's famous from New York, who's famous from LA. So when you're coming up and growing up where I'm from, you're gonna attach to whatever's close. So we used to attach to Atlanta right there, Dungeon Family, and then we used to love Cash Money, No Limit, and them too. New Orleans was close, you know what I'm saying? But salute to Primo too, because I did the BET Cypher, he DJ'd it, and he gave me his blessing on the Mass Appeal, played it on his show and all that, so I'm glad you brought it up. I need to make some calls and get Primo on the album. What's up, you know what I'm saying?
It's not
in New York.
New York, Manhattan.
Yeah.
Tri-state.
It was wild. I've been there like 1,000,000 times now, but when I first was going there, it was too busy for me, you know what I'm saying? You hopping the little trains and going on the subway under there, I was like, this is wild. I still got a Metro card in my wallet, you know what I'm saying? It got folded up, she wouldn't give me another one, you gotta buy another one. I'm like, I just bought this 2 seconds ago, but I've gotten really used to it now, and I actually like going now, you know what I'm saying? I can see how somebody who's born and raised in New York City would love it, you know what I'm saying? Rep it to the death. That's the grind, the hustle, you know what I'm saying? But me, I'm coming from somewhere where ain't no parking meters and parallel parking, and we gotta figure out, listen, you gotta move your car by 8 o'clock. We just park in somebody's yard and just leave it there. So, it's definitely culture shock, but it's fun though. It's dope. It's dope. This is my first national tour actually, and being on the road, I'm happy it is this tour. And everything happened for a reason. And Big Crit is from Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi, so to be on the tour with him and be traveling everywhere, I feel like you kind of got some brothers on the tour with you know what I'm saying? We got real close. I met him a couple years back anyway, but now him and Big Son and everybody on the tour, we got real cool, and I'm just, lucky and blessed that there's no Hollywood, no egos on the tour. It's everything that we doing, we gotta do, and I love to do, so it never feels like work, you know what I'm saying? And half the time, I don't want to speak on what the other dudes are doing, because I don't even pay attention. I don't know what they doing. They could be off doing promo stuff. I just know that when we have days off from the tour, we do go and hit a radio spot for it. We be on the road, handing them out. Come to the table, shake my hand, we sign them. That's one of the greatest things about being on tour. You make new fans. In your 20-25 minute set you got on that stage, that's your job, is to make new fans, and that's what I take pride in doing, you know what I'm saying? My favorite rapper, probably of all time, is Biggie Smalls, you know what I mean? That's my mom's favorite rapper, and he's in my DNA. And for a long time, I used to say Eminem a lot, because the first 3 albums of Eminem was stuff that I was relating to, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily wanting to kill my moms or nothing like that, but he used to say certain things that hit a teenager's heart in high school, and I was like, yeah, that's me right there, you know what I'm saying, in the 8 Mile type of thing, and just wanting your respect. If I could go back in time and put myself on one record, and this is gonna sound bad and selfish, but it would be Nas If I Ruled the World with Lauryn Hill, and I wouldn't be on a remix on the second verse. I just take the whole thing. I'm sorry, Escar, I gotta do it, but I wish that's always a song I wish was my song, because I love Lauryn Hill. And I loved who she was at that time, you know what I'm saying? She was just so beautiful, her voice was angelic, and not only that, everything he said, was incredible. I'm big on Nas and them concept records, you know what I'm saying? Even Lupe is like a child of Nas. There's a lot of records are concept records. I got a song called Jessica I just did, it's a concept record, so I always loved what he was saying on there. And I even have a song called No Rules that they would probably hear later that is kind of flip side of that, If he ruled the world, it would be great and all this great stuff he was talking about. If it was no rules, it'd be anarchy and chaos. So, you know, it would definitely be that song, Nas, If I Ruled the World. I wish that was my song, always will. Feeling as I was signing my contract was long overdue, you know what I'm saying? I always tell people I'm a veteran in the rookie's body, you know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why my face is new to a lot, but the skills don't sound like they new. People just be like, you new, but you sound really good, like seasoned, like you've been rapping a long time. I have, you know what I'm saying? And all that was artist development on my own, in my room, you know what I'm saying? So I've been feeling like, of course, you look back at it now and be like, I just wasn't ready. Nobody could tell me I wasn't a dope rapper back then, but maybe I didn't have the whole mindset or the thing to make it into one. I had to make it presentable, you know what I'm saying? I was just all over the place rapping, killing beats. Now you have to make it presentable, you know what I'm saying? I don't mean to say we revel in the image or anything like that, but you have to make it presentable to the public. And now this is who I am. So back then it was like I wasn't ready, but when I signed the contract, I knew I was. Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre came into my life by happenstance, by accident, actually. I was signed to Capitol, I'm signed to Capitol, and that classic circular cylinder building is in LA. So I'll be in LA a lot. And I happened to be in LA just having a meeting or something with my man Steve, who signed me over there. Shout out to him, and he asked me if I wanted to go meet Dre. And you know, ain't too many people gonna turn it down, you know, I'm just a young kid from Mississippi. So I think we was just supposed to go over there just to meet Dre, chop it up with him, maybe play him some songs, and just let him know, you know, we out here. It wasn't to audition for Aftermath, it wasn't to be on his label or anything like that. It was just to meet somebody that we had access to, you know what I'm saying? And we get out there, meet him, he was cool, humble or whatever, and we just chopping up about basketball is what I always remember, him losing money on a game or something. And I remember I took the time to spit for him because he was pouring up juice and all that, and there was a bunch of dudes walking through, but I noticed for about 5 minutes nobody walked through. So it was just me and him in there and my manager, and we was just in there chilling. And I was like, instead of playing you some songs, I can just spit for you right now, just to let you know a lot of dudes can make themselves sound good on a beat, but let me spit for you for real. And I wasn't nervous. There's a video for it, candid video on YouTube. Was somebody put out a camera phone and recorded it, which is the greatest thing they could have did, to have that foresight to do it. Wasn't nervous at all. You can tell I'm not nervous at all because it was a atmosphere where you want me to rap. If I've been doing this all my life, there should be no reason for me to be nervous, you know what I'm saying? But you asked me to hotwire a car, I never did that in 30 seconds, and I might be nervous, and I always felt like the phrasing that I said a lot, and I'll continue to say it, you know, it's not out of arrogance or nothing, but I didn't feel like it was me in front of Dr. Dre. I felt like it was Dr. Dre in front of Tito Lopez, because I was very confident in myself. Spit for him, and after that, he recognized what it was. He was like, I like, you know what I'm saying, you dope. You sound like you got words for real, let's go write. So we start writing on music, just working on music. And I've been in the studio with him a few more times since then, you know what I mean, just working on stuff. So it's dope experience. 20 years, even when I'm passed away, I want people to remember me for the integrity, you know what I'm saying, and the honesty, or somebody who was willing to go out on a limb and put out singles that don't sound like singles out here today. You know what I'm saying? I got songs out called Mama Proud and The Blues, who on The Blues I'm gonna go out and tell you what I don't have and what problems I'm going through, and that's not a typical single. You wanna just talk about what you got and what everything. I'm not knocking that, but remember me for somebody who took chances, who had balls, you know what I'm saying, who wasn't scared to stand up for hip-hop, because I feel like the music that I put out is needed in hip-hop, you know what I'm saying, whether anybody else feel like that or not. And I would do it for hip-hop. I could be a martyr for hip-hop because I love it so much. So I just like that respect. Just stay who you are and your train will come around. And everybody needs to download the Hunger Game mixtape. Get it right now. It's on Dat Piff, you know what I'm saying? It's for free. And buy my single, The Blues, on iTunes, and Mama Proud, and it's Capitol Records. And respect, man.
I just want my mama to be proud of me. Okay, trill at the wheel. Let me let my seat back. Adjust the mirror for niggas so I can peek back. Start with Lucius left off with